Okay, Chuck Bell. Chuck Bell has been making music and theater magic since 1988 with a degree in jazz studies and commercial music from Webster University. He's spent his career directing, performing, and consulting for productions of all sizes. From community theater to professional stages and even NHL, NBA, and MLB arenas. And I think I know all of those letters. It's sports ball. Thank you. That was Chuck. A lifelong collaborator and storyteller, Chuck has shared his talents across the U.S. and abroad, helping both secular and faith-based organizations create meaningful musical experiences. He and his wife Kim make their home in Dahlonega, Georgia, with their daughters Lucy and Blakely, where they're here too, and where Chuck serves as director of production and creative arts at Dahlonega Methodist Church. So, without further delay, Chuck Bell.
Thank y'all for hanging out with us tonight. Really cool that Bobby has put this together, and I didn't realize how much I've been mourning a lot of the opportunities for live music and live art to happen in our town since one of our music venues closed a couple of years ago. I felt like that there just needed to be an outlet. So thank you, Susie, for opening this place for us to be able to come and do this. Really appreciate that. So Bobby did say a lot of stuff in that short amount of time, and I feel like I've done a lot of stuff in my short life leading up to where I am now. There's a piece that I'm going to play that I started in college. It's a piece I call Webster. And the university I went to was Webster University in St. Louis, Missouri. I studied commercial music, which is writing jingles for television commercials and movie scores, like that. I'm stuck on Band-Aid, because Band-Aid stuck on me. I was hoping to be the next person that did that. And advertising wasn't really where God had me planned, and I ended up being in the church. And so this piece that I'm going to play has sort of been composed over the last 30 plus years. But it wasn't until recently, in the last 3 years, that I tagged the end of this piece that I've written with an arrangement of one of my favorite hymns. So this piece is called Webster, and it really has a lot of different flavors of the type of musician that I've become over the years, from a jazz piano player. There's not any ragtime in this, but I was a ragtime piano player for a while, which is that. The church music has been really important in my life, because I feel like that's what I was created for, to basically give the music back to God, and so this is called Webster. Well, I hear different parts of that every time I play it, and as a composer and a songwriter, it's like, because I know my story, it's like I didn't realize how much musical theater is actually in that whole little. I feel like it's like some Stephen Sondheim coming out, kind of like that. I didn't know it before until I actually played it. So thank you for allowing me to give you kind of a glimpse of who I am musically. I'm going to play another composition that I did, and then I'm going to give you all kind of a sneak peek of what it is to be inside the head of Chuck Bell as a film score, which is this. So we're going to do that in just a second. This next piece is one that I wrote about 2 years ago, and it's called Seasons. It has 4 specific different parts to it. That when I wrote it, I felt like it was 4 different songs, but for some reason it just all came together. And it was like the name just kind of like, it was like 4 different parts and the seasons, and it was changes and all that. So here it is. It's called Seasons.
Look at the bottom.
So about 2 years ago, I started working on a project. It was called City Lights. It's an album that I wrote 30 songs in 45 days. And the whole purpose of these, I know it was a lot. What I would do is wake up in the morning and I would sit down at the piano for 2 hours and I would write the song and then I would take it and I would put it to some type of visual. So there were things like, there was one that was called Horses, and so it was just videos of horses that you could watch. And really it was made for people who are dealing with anxiety, people who needed a respite during the day, people who needed to focus on something. It had a lot of ostinato rhythms and parts, which means that it's just rhythms that repeat. It was made for you to kind of get lost in it, is what this was for. Put some headphones on, put the horse blinders on, either close your eyes or just look at the screen so you're just focusing on one thing. This album it's one of my favorite pieces that I've worked on. It's 30 songs, it was a lot. One of my favorite pieces from there was one that was originally called The Carnival. And Dr. Lauren Stevenson, who's in the house tonight, she was a kindergarten teacher at the time at Riverview Elementary School. She now serves as the assistant principal there. She invited her class to be part of this project and asked them things that they wanted me to write music on. And one of the things that came out of there was this thing that said Carnival, but it actually said Carnival Sweetberry. And it was spelled CANARVELSWEETBARRY. Carnival Sweetberry. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. So it made it to the album, and it was so awesome that first grader at the time. Now she's what, fifth grade, sixth grade, fourth grade. Oh yeah, because it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So this one specifically was made to look like a carnival. So if you can imagine yourself walking through the gates, the turnstiles of a carnival, maybe one of like the ones that we have set up during Barronless Square or Gold Rush, the one that kind of has those rides that you don't know whether or not you're trusting your life on a couple of. Yeah. So anyway, this is called Carnival Sweetberry. And that album is on Spotify and on iTunes, one of those places you can find stuff. And I found that my music is really good for people to go to sleep to. I've been putting kids to sleep for years. It's like I still there's some kids who are in middle school that is when they hear this. Oh wait.
Yeah.
It's like immediately. It's perfect. Your parents have been telling me that they've used it for years.
This whole section of the room was starting to do that.
Yeah.
We all go to sleep to it.
Yeah, so you can find that if you're a visual person who wants to see the music, it's like 3 hours of videos that you can watch. There are all of these songs that are like laced together, and you can see kind of inside the creative visuals of what I see when I compose. Because it's a little hard for me to say like this is a flower, or now I'm writing about horses. Like that carnival, I think you can imagine yourself walking in the carnival. Years ago, I started a project called Soundscapes, which I would write specific songs and then send it off to a focus group that I had and say, what pictures do you see when you hear this? So I would write a specific song that maybe had a landscape that had like an eagle flying over it and a blue sky, but there was a desert that it was flying over with a bunch of cactuses. And so I'd write this trying to imagine what it would look like when I would do that. And then I would send it to a group to see if they would, I was even close. So sometimes they would write back and say, I saw nature, or sometimes it was like I saw space, or every now and then I would get somebody specifically tell me they saw the color blue, or they for some reason they saw whatever, which was really cool to be able to do that. So I'm going to invite you just in this next piece that I'm going to play. I'm just going to do a little bit of it. Film scoring has come a long way in the last couple of years. Where it was even 2 years ago is light years ahead of where it was 3 years ago, which is light years ahead of where it was even 5 years ago. And so as a film composer, I was only able to write stuff on piano and then have to imagine what it sounded like with an orchestra. And these days I can create stuff that's in my studio that sounds like a full orchestra in the hopes that one day we would have a full orchestra play it. And so I'm using a program called East-West Sounds, which allows this whole realm of possibilities of me being able to create these soundscapes. I'm not going to tell you what this one is. I'm just going to play a little bit of it, and then I want you to just shout out after I finish what you picture in your mind when I play this. Okay.
This is the test. Yep.
What'd you see?
No, tell him what you said.
You saw vampires. Nice. I love it.
No, I'll said one.
A unicorn flying through a castle.
A unicorn flying through a castle.
A reunion of animals in the microfield.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Wait, that's so
Hobbits.
Hobbits.
Fish in the ocean.
Fish in the ocean.
Walking through a European Gothic cathedral with colored windows.
Oh, beautiful.
Narnia.
Here's what's great about music, especially instrumental music, that no matter what I picture in my mind when I do it, that is the freedom that we have when we hear music, that we can picture whatever we want to picture from that kind of thing, whether it's unicorns or vampires or cathedrals and stuff. So that specifically is called Elfin Forest. Yeah.
It was the beginning.
Yeah, but forest is like a cathedral.
Yeah.
It's actually right.
Like Strauss.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah.
Strauss and Brahms together.
Oh, beautiful. As an artist, that's really amazing that we're able to use these tools to be able to do that. So that's all I got musically for you. Are you gonna ask me questions now?
I mean, I'm just trying to hear the rapper.
Thank y'all so much.
Like, what was your first instrument, period? Like, I don't know, you're like Prince, you play them all, right? I mean,
No.
Okay, what was the first one?
So piano was, I think, the first instrument that I remember gravitating to. My dad owned a player piano business back in the 70s. And so our house was filled with those player pianos where you put the rolls in and then you pump the feet and it played by itself. And so my sisters and I would learn everything from a certain key up and I would learn everything down. So I knew these great classical pieces, but literally it was just like, burn, 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 burn. And that was kind of my first instrument, was the low keys of the piano that I can remember.
That's it. From low key to today.
Yeah, there it is.
It's a low key. If you weren't doing music, because you do music really well, what would be, if like music wasn't at all on your plate? What's the creative outlet for you otherwise? What would you do instead of all that time into music?
Well, Brown, and I was just talking about this. I really felt like I was going to go into oceanography. That was kind of the direction that I wanted to go, but I have a fear of drowning. So that's kind of off the plate. The second kind of highest would be like a forensic pathologist. I'm really, this is going to sound strange. I love true crime stories. And the reason I love them is not necessarily because of the horrible stuff that humans do to humans is just really tough to listen to sometimes. But what I'm drawn to is more of the puzzle. I love trying to figure out the clues to try to find the solution of what happened in the story. And that is something that I'm kind of pulled to is these stories of walking into a situation and saying, okay, well, here's all of the pieces that happened, put it together and tell us the true story of what happened. So criminal pathologist.
I mean, yeah, when you're not busy being an oceanographer or an ocean or a marine biologist as a musician. Wow. Okay. Are there any questions from the audience? Is anybody? Yeah, Susie.
So your the song Seasons,
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out what seasons went with each, and I kind of got lost. I was like, oh wait, no.
Yeah, part of that was my nerves too, and I didn't, and I kind of missed some of the transitions that really tell. So they aren't specifically designated as summer, winter, spring, and fall, but there's 4 distinct little variations that are in there. The first one that has that big piano run that's up and down kind of sets the scene. And then there's one main thing that goes that'd be considered one season. And then the second part does that'd be another season. And then it goes into this minor part. It goes which is another season. And then it goes into the the second part of that, which I consider almost that one to be fall, and winter is more of that minor thing that had a lot of the piano, that was the repetitive. It sounds like I was playing a very difficult classical piece, but as a piano player, I was kind of tricking your ears. And so it sounded like I was playing a lot of notes at once, but I was double tapping some stuff, which makes it sound like it's a little bit more complicated.
Was there any season that was focusing on like rain?
Yeah, so that's where the interpretation can really come in a lot of different ways, because there's a lot of repetitive stuff. I'm big on this gets a little deep, but I'm big on dissonance and resolution. I think that's what makes music interesting. When you have an instrument that is playing one single note, and you add dissonance to it, it makes this note interesting because I've added that dissonance into it. But the resolution happens when this happens. Dissonance and resolution. So that piece, Season, has a lot of that dissonance and resolution, and sometimes we think of rain as being something that's very, it interrupts our lives, so that could be very much a dissonance feel in our life, that then has the resolution of going to more of that major, that happy stuff that is more like the sunshine coming out. So yeah, I think very much so. I might have just made the connection with that, with the rain stuff.
A creative artist talking about making actual art. Everybody, Chuck Bell, thank you. That's a wrap. Thank you.